Hello everyone, welcome to my history on one of the most ridiculous periods of American history, Prohibition. Ever want to see what a black market the size of a country would look like? Stay tuned to find out. Anyways, here is my history of Prohibition. Enjoy. First off, we need to understand why alcohol was so unpopular in the US. For this, we can look back at the whole of American history. Ever since the founding of the US in 1776, alcohol was a rather standard and normal part of life. That is, until a thing known as the 1800s. With the turn of the 19th century, the US began industrializing at an unprecedented rate. More industrializing means more jobs. More jobs means more workers. More workers means more work for more workers. More work for more workers means more stress for each worker, which means exhausted workers would end their long days by turning to one thing and one thing only, their guilty pleasure, alcohol. This chain of events meant that a pattern was developing amongst the American working class. A few drinks would become a habit, which would become an addiction, which would lead to alcoholism, which could tear families apart. Families of alcoholics could go fearful and flee for their own safety. With this, in the 1830s, organized groups led to the Temperance movement to fight alcohol consumption. These groups were dominated by women who often were affected by alcoholics in their own lives. Some groups of women would protest, an unfathomable sight for the average old white Anglo-American. However, some who were suspicious of drinks would push for legal action to counteract the issue of alcohol. In 1847, men influenced by temperance groups passed the 15-gallon law, the first prohibition law. It banned the sale of alcoholic beverages under 15 gallons, making it wealthy exclusive. This law would also pave the way for hundreds to come. In 1851, Maine went a step further and flat out banned non-medicinal alcohol production and consumption. By 4 years later, in 1855, a dozen other states banned alcohol in laws which came to be known as dry laws. Heck, in 1869, a prohibition party was founded which exists to this day. Despite all of this, some places were ready to go even further. In 1873, the largest temperance group was founded, known as the Women's Christian Temperance Union, or WCTU. It advocated against alcohol consumption, as well as other issues like women's suffrage. In 1881, Kansas became the first state to add a dry law to its state constitution. Speaking of Kansas, I would like to introduce a figure who embodied the growing hatred of alcohol in both Kansas and the U.S., Carrie Nation. Nicknamed Hatchet Granny, Carrie would travel to saloons around Kansas and would smash pretty much everything inside saloons with her hatchet. After being arrested and freed, she did the exact same thing. As she once said, "Oh, I tell you ladies, you never know what joy it gives you to start out to smash a rum shop." On this day, December 18th, 104 years ago in 1917, the U.S. Senate passed the Volstead Act, a law which heavily cracked down on alcohol. It banned any alcohol from being produced if it had over 0.5% alcohol. Anyways, on the fateful day of January 16th, 1919, the 18th Amendment was ratified by 36 states. This banned the same stuff as the Volstead Act, just not the consumption of alcohol. With this, we reach the most chaotic part of Prohibition, the shenanigans and crime of the Gangster era. With the U.S.'s sixth largest industry dissolved, a nationwide black market emerged. Dominated by the mob and countless bootleggers, syndicates were set up all over the place. However, if one city would be the capital of this crime wave, it would be Chicago, Illinois. Now, we've already talked about Mr. Alcohol, now for Mr. Al Capone. Arguably the most famous gangster and figure of the Prohibition era, Capone would be responsible for hundreds of crimes like murder, theft, bootlegging, and much more. First of all, he organized the famed Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929. 7 gang members who thought they were receiving alcohol were ambushed by Capone's men, causing their blood to splatter a wall which can still be seen today. Capone would be arrested in 1931 for tax evasion. Throughout all of this, President Herbert Hoover was controversial for not doing much to fight these shenanigans. When asked if he would end Prohibition and these shenanigans, he would say, "I'll look into it," or do absolutely nothing. Consequently, he would be voted out of office and be replaced by FDR, who is the real game changer. After being inaugurated, FDR was ready to end Prohibition once and for all. With the support of both chambers of Congress, on December 5th, 1933, the 21st Amendment went into effect. It repealed the 18th Amendment, officially putting the cork on Prohibition. Ha 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 ha. After 13 years of gang violence, hard policing, and ill-fated attempts to end American drinking, Prohibition will live on as the result of creating a nationwide black market via banning one thing. And with that was my history of Prohibition. I hope this video will put you in good spirits and you were able to watch the whole thing. Oh. My next video will be a special one. My next video will be my 2021 Christmas special. This year, I made a biography on the inspiration of Santa Claus, the real-life Saint Nicholas. It will come out on Christmas Day, December 25th. Thanks for watching.